Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Kate and Henry at Hudson Crossing Park again, and today we're going to talk about monarch butterflies. Monarch butterflies are really easy to spot because they're such brightly colored butterflies. Their orange and black wings are really easy to see as they fly through the air. But we want to talk about more than just the grown-up butterflies. We want to talk about how they get there. In the grand scheme of things, monarchs grow really quickly. It only takes around a month for a monarch to grow from an egg to a larva or caterpillar to chrysalis to an adult monarch. Have you ever seen these plants along the roadside or in a field, maybe even in your garden? These plants are called milkweed, and they're really important for the monarchs. They're called milkweed because inside they're filled with a milky sap. You wouldn't want to drink this milk, though. It's actually poisonous. Believe it or not, that poison is good for monarch caterpillars. Monarchs lay their eggs on milkweed plants, and when they hatch into the caterpillars, those caterpillars eat the leaves of the same milkweed plant they were born on. Now you'd think that a caterpillar who spends its whole beginning of life eating something that's poisonous would have some problems, but in fact, it actually helps the caterpillar when it's a grown-up monarch. The caterpillars store the poison and toxins in their body. Then, when they're grown-up monarch butterflies, birds and other animals that would usually try to eat them see them and say, I've made that mistake before. They don't taste good and they don't make me feel good. I'm staying away. Monarch caterpillars spend about 2 weeks eating and growing and getting ready to start the long process of turning into a beautiful butterfly. When they're ready, they form what is called a chrysalis, which is a cool protective coating around their whole body. Believe it or not, while the caterpillar is in the chrysalis, it actually liquefies and turns to goo before it turns into a monarch. Pretty gross, right? But it's worth it. When the chrysalis is formed, it's a beautiful bright green color, and it protects the monarch caterpillar as it turns to goo, but then turns into a beautiful butterfly. Check it out as it manages to work its way out of the chrysalis and dry its wings. Now, monarchs, like all butterflies, have a different diet when they're larval caterpillars than they do when they're adults. As caterpillars, what do they eat? Right, milkweed. As adults, now that they can fly, they have a much broader and probably more delicious diet. They gather nectar from a wide range of blooming native plants, but they also still like to visit the old standby, milkweed. Did you know that you can tell the difference between a boy monarch and a girl monarch just by looking at them? Boy monarchs have thinner lines and a black spot on their wings, where girl monarchs have much thicker black lines going through their orange and, you guessed it, no spots. Now, one of the coolest things about monarchs is they migrate. That means they fly south where it's warmer in the winter. And believe it or not, they fly all the way to Mexico. That's a long ways for a little guy with wings like that. Yeah, you heard that right. All the way to Mexico. So the monarchs you see flying around this fall, they've got a long trip in front of them. Unfortunately, monarchs haven't had it easy over the last few years. They haven't been surviving as long as they need to have more eggs and have more babies. Part of the reason is the chemicals that people use on their lawns and fields. Part of the reason is global warming, which means that our Earth is getting warmer. This causes big storms that could keep our monarch friends from making their way to Mexico. And part of the reason is loss of habitat. A lot of the fields and milkweed plants that they love so much and depend on have been cut down and aren't available for them anymore. So how can we help the monarchs? Well, there's a couple different things we can do. The first thing is to talk to your parents or grandparents about not using chemicals on their lawns and gardens. Another thing you can do is plant native flowers like this bee balm behind us. I like to call it the Dr. Seuss plant because it looks so funny. And you can also get a Monarch Butterfly Raise and Release Kit from Hudson Crossing Park and the Greenwich Library. You can find the information to register for this free kit here, and you can always call the Greenwich Library and get more information. Bye, boys and girls. We'll see you next week.